All right, it's a two-fer Sunday. Second model of the morning, 240205. So excited when I saw this one. Man, this is a great part. Um, Definitely symmetry, but some really interesting geometry. Going to rely heavily on sketch regions for this one. I'm sure there's other ways to do it, but we're gonna stick with sketch regions and some good dimensioning and model half of it and give it a big old mirror at the end. So let's jump in. All right, so I'm going to start with a sketch on the right plane. And we're going to kind of go after this view and the side view here. We're going to add all this geometry in this side view. I'm going to add it the full size. I'm not going to mirror front to back. I'm going to start by giving this the right size, which is 1/2 inch. The dimension, oddly, is to the top of the part. It's not to the center of the hole, so we'll have to come back to that. I'm going to add the circle for the counterbore and then the circle for the top of the part. Also going to add a tangent line down here and over. We'll probably do some mirroring down here. Let's add a few more dimensions in here before we go too far. That's going to be 4 to the overall top. All right, I'm just going to add a few more things, and then we'll do a big mirror. So with the arc tool, fun thing, again, if you go out the top, you can get it to be tangent. Okay. I'm just going to select geometry. Actually, if I'm just selecting geometry, I want to go that way. And I can mirror over that center line. And now we can add some dimensions. All right, so the overall width down here is 2.625. The height up to this little piece, oh, gotta switch back to All Sketcher. That's why. Is 0.25. That's from the front view. What else? The counterbore diameter, is that this one? Yep, that's going to be 1.25 from the right view. All right, I need a dimension that goes this angle. 14 degrees from the side view. All right, what else? We need the rib angle, and that's going to be 16 degrees from the side view. Now, I'm not a huge fan of how this is dimensioned. I'm going to hit undo for a second. To the hidden lines, I'd rather see a sketch cross-section here. The overall height here is 1.5. That's shown in the front view. Now I can update this to be 16 degrees. And our last dimension, we've only got one weak dimension left, is the 0.5 in here from the side view. All right. That looks like all the dimensions. Clearly, we can't extrude this, but that's okay. We'll take advantage of sketch dimensions, or sketch regions. All right, let's just extrude this one. All right. And that's the overall 5.875. Okay. Let's see what happens when we extrude this one. So we're going to flip it the other way. We're going to add a side 2. Side 2 is going to be 2 next. So we're going to make it come all the way up to here. Let's go to options. Oh, sorry, not 2 next, to reference. Okay. There we go. And side 1 is going to be that 4.25 divided by 2. Okay. All right, we're going to do something similar with, let's grab both of those and give those an extrude. Okay, so we'll we'll do it this way. To reference, we're going to make it go to the back. And then on side 2, we're going to be variable, and we'll make that 3.5 divided by 2. Okay, and then let's extrude this one. And this is a remove material, so I should be able to do it as one side, but the depth is going to be, if I go parentheses, 3.5 divided by 2, plus 0.5. That should be the depth of the counterbore. If things are not right, that is my first guess is where I'm going to come back to. Okay. I think that's the main geometry. Let's add in that round. We're going to add in a round down here and here. 0.5 is the correct value. And let's add that top view. Okay, so we're going to extrude on the top. We're going to add let's just add an arc here to here, and then we're going to make it tangent. Doesn't seem to want to do tangent that way, so I'll force it this way. There we go. And then that distance is not going to be given as a radius, but rather as a distance to the center. And that's going to be that 5.25 divided by 2 from the top view. All right. So how to remove this? So I don't love using just random numbers that are bigger than what I need. Like what I mean is drawing it out here and closing it. Because it's tangent, I can't just pass that line. So if I actually close the inside, this is interesting. If I hit check mark and I remove material, I can flip it outside. And we'll do through all. So we can actually sketch a region in Creo and remove on the outside of that region instead of the inside, which is nice. Okay. All right, that looks right based on the picture. Everything looks pretty good. I just have to mirror it. So we'll use the body mirror over the right plane. Okay, and then we'll take both of those bodies and merge them. And I'm going to hide that. I'm going to hide my sketch and just kind of check this out because this is a funky looking part. I want to look at it from the front view and just kind of make sure I got that right shape there. If I really want to check, I can go into hidden line or wireframe. Yeah, kind of hard to see with this yellow geometry, but it's looking like I got it going correctly. Let's change the material to steel. And see how we did. All right, so we're looking for plus or minus 0.02 pounds. So 4.93. Awesome. That was a fun part. Some really interesting geometry in there. And this outside's kind of rounded surface, maybe not obvious what's happening there. Same thing with the rib. I'd be curious to go back and do that again as a rib with the draft and the full round. But that particular part worked with extrudes and definitely took advantage of the sketch regions option. Fun part. All right, we'll see you again soon.